Lewis Hamilton expressed his belief that the United States Grand Prix victory was within his grasp, but both he and his team failed to capitalize on the opportunity. Ultimately, he was disqualified from the Grand Prix despite finishing second, showcasing his enduring skill. He narrowly missed victory by a mere 2.2 seconds, leaving many to ponder whether Hamilton could have won the race. So, what transpired during the race? For key factors contributed to the weekend in which Lewis Hamilton came tantalizingly close to victory, only to face disqualification. The primary point of contention centered around Mercedes' decision to employ a one-stop strategy, a move that proved to be highly controversial. However, due to tire issues experienced by the driver, they were compelled to pit and transition to a two-stop strategy. By that point, Max Verstappen, who had been on a two-stop strategy all along and pitted several laps earlier than Hamilton, gained a strategic advantage. Mercedes found themselves in a situation where they needed to adopt an unconventional approach with Verstappen, as following the same strategy would have seen him emerge as the victor. This raised questions about whether Mercedes' initial one-stop strategy was overly conservative. Sky Sports' Anthony Davidson weighed in on the matter, suggesting that Mercedes might have considered a different strategy, such as transitioning to medium tires towards the end of the race, to counter Verstappen's challenge. Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal, stood by his team's strategy at the United States Grand Prix following a closely fought battle with Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Hamilton, using medium tires while Verstappen opted for the hard compound, pursued the Dutch driver in the closing stages of the race at the Circuit of the Americas. Mercedes initially intended to stick to a one-stop strategy, keeping Hamilton on the track longer during the initial pit stops. However, Hamilton's first set of medium tires deteriorated abruptly, prompting Mercedes to switch him to hard rubber, even though they were aware it would place him behind Verstappen and disrupt their strategy. Hamilton did manage to close the gap on Verstappen towards the end by reverting to medium tires, but ran out of time to mount a successful challenge. Hindsight makes it challenging to assess the situation, as Wolff noted. While Mercedes had a faster car at that stage, they were uncertain about the optimal strategy. Extending the one-stop strategy was a viable option, but 2 laps cost them significant time, ultimately leading to their defeat. They needed to hold out until lap 23 to make the one-stop strategy work. The failed strategy wasn't the only factor that hindered Hamilton's race, according to Davidson. He believed that a few minor errors by Hamilton contributed to the outcome. Davidson highlighted a critical moment at turn 11, where a lockup occurred, resulting in a costly error during the race. With other drivers attempting to undercut him, those laps were crucial. The timing of the lockup was unfortunate, as Hamilton was engaged in a close battle with Verstappen and Norris, and it likely cost him around half a second in that particular corner, due to running wide on the marbles. Moreover, Mercedes was forced to abandon their planned one-stop strategy, and switch Hamilton to a two-stopper when his initial pit stop took 3.6 seconds. To compound the issues, the subsequent pit stop was slower than anticipated, further hampering their performance. While Mercedes has faced challenges throughout the season, this particular pit stop was notably slower than expected. That was one more chink in the covering. Another issue, if you had corrected both of those, you would have been presently perhaps a second in the distance from where you were toward the finish of the race. Every one of these adds up, particularly in a race where you don't have a security vehicle or numerous virtual well-being vehicles. Davidson additionally said Leclerc was the greatest catastrophe for the Britain's desires, as he was locked behind the Ferrari following his subsequent refueling break. That, as per the Briton, cost his confidant 6/7 tenths, if not a second. It was lamentable timing. Behind Leclerc, he was on the medium tires, chasing him down. Leclerc is attempting to do the one-stop technique here, he made sense of. On the off chance that he'd recently got him in this corner, he would have saved a lot of time. It wasn't exactly sufficiently close. He attempted to circumvent the B on turn 2, however. He didn't exactly have the force and couldn't exactly do the switchback as successfully as he would have wanted to. He needed to follow Leclerc through this fast segment, losing time at a mind-blowing rate. Perhaps one more 6/7 tenths lost in that entire succession. Perhaps a second, because Leclerc was just sluggish. Hamilton's endeavours were eventually pointless, as the Briton was precluded following the race after his W14 bombed a post-race board and floor check. His vehicle's board was found to be not exactly the legal 9mm thickness. In any case, if not for the mix-ups and preclusion, Lewis Hamilton feels he might have gotten Max Verstappen's Red Bull race a couple of laps longer. In this manner, Mercedes could smell triumph interestingly throughout the season. Hamilton thought back on an excellent Prix that had become generally an imagined scenario in which story. However, we were getting them towards the end. I was confident that I would be able, yet I simply required a couple more laps. There has been such a lot of work to bring this redesign here, and it was troublesome after the last race in Qatar. I felt like I let the group down. So I needed to go through such a profound cycle to return myself once again to here. It's one of those encounters, it's not the way that you fall, it's how you get back up. I came here in the state of mind to contend energetically. It felt perfect. Also, I'm truly content with my presentation, Hamilton said. Hamilton stayed positive after Austin. Generally speaking, we actually didn't perform ideally today. We had a decent speed, and I was feeling perfect in the vehicle. It was intense dashing people around me as they were so fast, yet we could be content with numerous things. I feel good as we're pushing ahead, regardless of whether considering it, we might have conceivably won today. It is disheartening to be precluded post-race, yet that doesn't detract from the headway we've made this end of the week. This newly discovered pace had to do with the Brackley Group appearing on another floor during the US Excellent Prix, planned considering 2024. In any case, they expected slight advantages all along. That is exactly the very thing they found, and Hamilton feels energized by his presentation at the Circuit of the Americas. I felt perfect from lap 1 on Friday and had a decent recuperation week, and I felt strong in the vehicle, he said. Furthermore, this is the principal end of the week that I felt the overhaul work. So I felt truly good and unimaginably appreciative. I realize how hard everybody's functioning back to the plant, so it's pleasant to at last begin to see the compensations of the difficult work, and to feel it in the vehicle too. I believe that is the best I've felt for this present year. Yet, as a rule, it's been not a horrible year. However, better believe it, simply realizing the work that is occurring, I'm in steady contact with the head of air and the group back. I simply feel like everybody's truly on their toes and all set. There are heaps of things that we can enhance, with regards to the cycle, and yet I'm energized. I accept that we're heading down the correct path. It has the Mercedes driver longing for his most memorable stupendous Prix to come out on top since his championship challenge in 2021. As per Hamilton, the change expanded track execution, yet in addition expanded his trust in the vehicle, since he can now toss it into the corner. When inquired as to whether he suspected he could win before the finish of the time, he said, "I think the step that we had the option to require this end of the week has given me somewhat more trust in the vehicle to toss it into the corner." So it was positive. I appreciated cruising all over this track. However, there are as yet those principal gives that we're having with the vehicle, which won't change till the following year. In any case, it was good, as I said, to feel that the means that we've taken, perhaps it was just 0.1 overhaul, for instance, yet there was to some degree 0.1 of certainty that it gave me. So this aided me. Thus, it's very fascinating what you see when you truly do have those. It resembles a twofold thump on impact. Notwithstanding, Hamilton's possibilities of getting Sergio Perez for second in the drivers' standings have been run, with the Red Bull driver presently driving by 37. Can he defeat that hole in the impending 4 races? And might Mercedes at any point have dealt with the race procedure diversely for Hamilton? I'm eager to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Please share them in the comments section below. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel for notifications on our future uploads, ensuring you stay informed about the developments in the 2023 Formula One season.